Earlier this year, we took a look at the 90s comics costumes that are good, actually. And the number one most received comment on that video was, well, now you've got to talk about the bad ones. Yes, as the internet's most notorious 90s comics connoisseur, it's kind of hard for me to admit that for every superhero wardrobe wonder, there came a fashion flop. But you asked for it, so here I am, delving into the darker side of comic book couture. Hey heroes, I'm Josh from Panels to Pixels, and these are 10 90s comics costumes that are bad, actually. Number 10, Crop Top Thor. Thor's original costume is a Jack Kirby classic. It's obviously based in traditional Norse depictions of the god of thunder, but Kirby made it colourful, he made it pop art, and super heroic. And also timeless. You know, in spite of its simplicity, or maybe as a result of its simplicity, that classic look for Thor has prevailed even to today. But by 1996, Thor wasn't anybody's favourite character, and a radical 90s redesign was Marvel's only recourse. And so in Thor issue 502, artist Mike Deodato Jr. bestowed upon the Odinson some new duds. Deodato managed to cram just about every 90s cliche you can think of into this costume. He's got the face sock with the exposed hair, great honking shoulder pads, a codpiece that would make Joel Schumacher's Batman jealous, and of course, chains. Because, say it with me now, the kids love chains.
The kids like chains.
I've seen this look referred to as Crop Top Thor, or Midriff Thor for obvious reasons, and also Fabio Thor for his resemblance to 90s fashion model, cover star of countless romance novels, and guy who once killed a goose in midair with his face, Fabio. Yes, that's true, look it up. I've got to be honest though, I kind of think this Thor look goes pretty hard. It's metal AF. This is going to be a running theme throughout this video, because I honestly don't hate any of these costumes. But if it wasn't such a downgrade from Jack Kirby's design, say if it was an original 90s character, I think this look would be iconic. He's got the absurdly long, flowing mane, the big spawn cape, the leather wraps and perfunctory thigh pouches. It's so almost there for me. This is the look that Thor would rock in The Crossing, a notoriously bad Avengers story arc from 1995. And speaking of which, number 9, Insect Wasp. The Crossing was a notoriously bad Avengers story arc from 1995, which repositions Iron Man as a villain who has been secretly working for Kang the Conqueror for years. Most people remember this comic for the introduction of teen Tony Stark, who is recruited from an alternate timeline to defeat his evil older self, and was intended by Marvel to become the new status quo for the character. You know, a young, hip, edgy Iron Man for the new millennium. But the part of The Crossing that people don't talk about enough, in my opinion, is when Tony Stark blasts a hole straight through Janet Van Dyne, aka the Wasp. Hank Pym tries to heal her by exposing her to the same procedure that originally gave her her powers, but to no avail, and in Avengers issue 394, the Wasp re-emerges from a cocoon as an actual half-wasp, half-hypersexualized 90s bad girl. It's creepy, it's gross, almost in a way that appeals to me to be honest, but it's so far away from everything we know about Janet as this fast-talking fashionista and kind of debonair socialite, it just feels wrong. So Janet's new form, along with Teen Tony, was retconned at the first opportunity, during the Onslaught storyline, and we never talked about The Crossing again. Number 8, Heroes Reborn Iron Man. But hey, while we're talking about Onslaught, let's talk about Heroes Reborn. In the wake of the Marvel Heroes battle with supervillain Onslaught, Franklin Richards opens a pocket universe and accidentally transports the Avengers and Fantastic Four into a new continuity. Under the guise of this bold new story direction, Marvel, who were facing Chapter 11 bankruptcy at the time, were able to shop out some of their lesser selling titles to Image Comics artists Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld. And thus a bunch of long-running Marvel comics got relaunched with new issue number 1s and some totally 90s redesigns. And by the way, if you want to learn more about Heroes Reborn and that Rob Liefeld Captain America image that spawned from it, well, good news, I made a video all about that and you can check it out. Anyway, Iron Man Volume 2, Issue 1 saw this alternate universe Tony Stark gaining an all-new origin and an all-new suit. Designed by Jim Lee and Whilce Portacio, the so-called Promethean armor looks like a normal Iron Man armor was left out in the sun and just kind of melted a little bit. With its sinewy tubes and comically large exhaust pipes out of the back, it's a little bit manga, it's a little bit HR Giga, but most of all, it is fugly. I'd still totally buy a Marvel Legends figure of this Iron Man suit though, because I have a sickness apparently. Number 7, Power Armor Booster Gold. Since his first appearance in Booster Gold issue 1 in 1986, Michael John Carter had pretty much stuck to the same gold and blue bodysuit that he debuted in. That is until the 90s, when we all realised that if less is more, then more must be even more than more. And so it was that Booster Gold got a ridiculously oversized suit of power armor. First appearing in Justice League America issue 80, cover dated September 1993, this look was designed in-universe by Booster's longtime ally Blue Beetle, but in our world it was designed by artist Kevin West. It features what looks like an adult diaper, great big Michelin Man muscles, and exposed hair. Because 90s. Booster Gold would rock, or at least attempt to rock, variations of this power armor throughout the rest of the decade, including his stint on the alternative superhero team known as Extreme Justice. And if you're wondering if anything can possibly get more 90s than that, well, stick around. We've only just scratched the surface. I got a box. I have been going hog wild on Whatnot recently. In case you missed my video on it, Whatnot is an app where you can shop for collectibles through live streams. And they've been sponsoring my videos and helping me hunt for some 90s gold for my collection. I'm so excited for this. I bought this in the video. Man, I've been waiting for this. Slabbed 9.4, New Mutants 87, first appearance of Cable. We got the Rob Liefeld art, the Todd McFarlane inks. Oh man, that is beautiful. Bosh, but that's not all. I also managed to grab a couple of other key 90s books over here. So we've got X-Force issue 2, 1991, second appearance of Deadpool, and I bought this, it got me into a buyer's giveaway, and I won for free Ghost Rider issue 1, first appearance of Danny Ketch, 1990. So that's 2 more 90s first appearances ticked off my list to go with my Cable. And look, I'm not finished yet. I'm on Whatnot all the time now, shopping for those 90s first appearances. And you can too by using my referral link that's on screen now or in the description of this video. And just by signing up, you get £10 to spend on comics. How good a deal is that? That's free comics, baby. So I highly recommend that you go take advantage of that offer, go buy some comics and have a great time on Whatnot. Number 6, Boob Window Sue Storm. Oh, do I even want to talk about this one? In the early 90s, Sue Storm had merged with Malice, a psychic entity that is sometimes a demonic force, and other times just a manifestation of Sue's dark side, depending on who the writer is. You know what, don't even worry about it. The important thing is that it compels the traditionally mumsy Invisible Woman to get her freak on, which is exactly what happens in issue 371, cover dated December 1992, when Sue reveals more than just a new costume to her horrified husband, explaining that she was, quote, starting to feel like an old frump in that tedious, outdated jumpsuit. Introduced by writer Tom DeFalco and artist Paul Ryan, this barely there costume has become infamous for the number 4 shaped boob window. Look, this one at least had some semblance of story motivation, playing up the familiar Sue Storm trope of the Invisible Woman feeling invisible in her own marriage. But it's not exactly Shakespeare, is it? I mean, it's not very complex. In fact, the only thing complex about it is the Oedipal complex that DeFalco and Ryan must have had to try and sex up the matriarch of Marvel's first family. Calling Dr. Freud. To be honest, I hesitate to weigh in too much on this one. On the emergent internet spectrum of puritanical prudishness to unabashed horniness, I'm somewhere right around the middle, so I don't really have any strong feelings either way on the Invisible Woman's almost invisible attire. Evidently, it wasn't very popular with fans at the time though, because it was only a few issues until Sue donned a leather jacket and utility belt, because 90s, before doing away with this costume altogether in issue 387. Number 5, Namor and Aquaman. 2 for the price of 1 here. It's the 1990s and Atlantean fish fanciers with neatly coiffed hair and little green speedos just ain't gonna cut it in the era of grim and grittiness. And so it was that both Marvel's Namor the Submariner and DC's Aquaman got the grunge treatment within just a few years of each other. When artist Jay Lee took over art duties from John Byrne on the solo Namor series, he immediately transformed the character from the guy she tells you not to worry about to the guy that the authorities are worrying about. Starting with Namor the Submariner issue 26, cover dated May 1992, this new savage Namor sported long, unkempt hair and a much more menacing demeanour. And this look only got more extreme as the series continued. By issue 37, the Submariner's trademark budgie smugglers had been replaced by long pants and an increasing array of Atlantean armour. And as much as this is the epitome of 90s excess, Jay Lee pulls it off. The artwork in this series is incredible, even though I've put it on a list of bad 90s comics costumes. Oh, whatever, we're just having fun here. Over at the Distinguished Competition, meanwhile, Aquaman looks less like the King of the Sea and more like the King of the Seattle style, as he grows out his hair and beard. In issue 2 of this 1994 series, Atlantis Morissette over here loses a hand, but you ought to know that he soon replaces it with a badass harpoon-like hook. And finally, by issue 5, he suits up in this quintessentially 90s costume, looking like Carp Codbane and smelling like marine spirit. Okay, I'll stop now. Number 4, Superman Blue. The 90s was a tumultuous time for Superman. He died, came back to life with a new black costume that made my list of the best 90s redesigns, then got his old suit back, but grew his hair out into a glorious mane of steel. And then in 1997, Superman went for an even more extreme overhaul when Big Blue became even bigger and even bluer. First appearing in Superman issue 123, the electric blue suit was designed by one of my all-time favourite artists, Ron Frenz, after a storyline that saw Kal-El no longer able to draw his power from the sun. Instead, Superman was able to manipulate electromagnetic energy, and could even turn himself into pure electricity. This look only lasted about a year, though not before getting even weirder when Superman split off into two separate entities, Superman Red and Superman Blue. But you know what, that's way beyond the scope of this video, so don't even worry about it. So continuing the theme of me not actually hating these designs, but kind of having to pretend I do in order to make this video, if this costume belonged to any other character, I'd kind of dig it. But compared to the classic circus strongman look that literally defined what a superhero should look like, yeah, it's not really in the same league, is it? But you know what, let's get real for a second. Let's go behind the curtain. A lot of the time, these comic redesigns are supposed to be new Coke, right? They get rid of the classics for a few months, make us miss the original recipe, and then we all go nuts when Superman's back in the red and blues. That's just the way it is, and it works. And in that way, it's hard to be mad at Electric Blue Superman. What a time to be alive 1997 was. Number 3, almost everything in Age of Apocalypse. I mean, take your pick, right? From Rogue's mullet and moon boots combo, to Pirate Colossus, and to whatever the hell Wolverine, known as Weapon X in this universe, is wearing. Age of Apocalypse is a 1995 X-Men event that established a new timeline in which Professor X died and Apocalypse presides over Earth. So to be fair, these are not technically redesigns, but alternate universe versions of the X-Men. But still, they kinda stink. There's lots of 90s hairstyles, weird kind of musical theatre puffy sleeves, and my god, we talked about Fabio Thor. What about Fabio Cyclops? By the way, none of this is to say that I think Age of Apocalypse sucks, and the alternate versions of all these characters with their revised backstories is super intriguing. But when measured up against the mostly Jim Lee designed X-Men costumes that had dominated much of the decade, yeah, there's really no contest, is there? Number 2, Biker Wonder Woman. First appearing in Wonder Woman Volume 2, issue 93, cover dated January 1995, Wonder Woman's biker look was designed once again by Mike Deodato Jr., you know, the guy who did Crop Top Thor. This man's a menace, he must be stopped. So, to catch you up, Diana had been relieved of her duties as Wonder Woman, and been replaced by Artemis of the, let's see if I can say this, Barna Mydal tribe. Artemis suited up as the new Wonder Woman, but would ultimately prove to be much more violent than Diana, and slightly more unhinged, and oh my god, I've just realised this is Nightfall, isn't it? It's literally just Nightfall, but for Wonder Woman instead of Batman. Anyway, while the new Wonder Woman cracks more skulls than a goose flying past a roller coaster, Diana re-emerges in a new totally 90s getup that includes a leather jacket, biker shorts, and the most practically implausible bra I've ever seen. I mean, I'm no bra expert, but what possible breast support could two straps that meet in the middle provide? So I guess this one wasn't so much a costume redesign as it was Diana's civvies while she relinquished the role of Wonder Woman. But still, for a character that readers associate with being regal, gladiatorial, literally a demigod, the 90s biker look is a definite downgrade. Number 1, Armored Captain America. In 1995, not even Steve Rogers was safe from the over-designed armor trend, when in Captain America issue 436, the Sentinel of Liberty suffers a heart attack that leaves him paralyzed in 95% of his body. Fortunately, his longtime friend and fellow Avenger Tony Stark stepped up by designing a star-spangled suit of armor that, let's be honest here, is ugly as all hell. First appearing in Captain America issue 438 and designed by artist Dave Hoover, this oh-so-90s power armor was replete with cybernetic implants, anti-missile armaments, and even gave RoboCap here the ability to fly. Now, I could go on and on about how this look takes a big old dump all over Jack Kirby's original, iconic Captain America design, how the weird helmet with the one eye opening makes him look like he's got no nose, or even how he appears to have muscles that simply do not exist as part of the human anatomy. But all I really need to say is that it's bad. Bad, bad, bad. It's bad. It's bad. Oh hey heroes, thanks for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments below what your least favourite 90s comics costumes are. I know you're going to scream at me telling me that Azrael's armour is terrible and shouldn't have been on my list of the best costumes, but you know, everyone's taste is different here, let's be respectful. Don't forget to go claim your £10 credit on Whatnot. Go buy some comics on me. Really, it's a really good deal. Subscribe to Panels to Pixels and give that bell icon a little ring-a-ding-ding so you never miss out on future uploads. And, as always, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.